little upset. I was more than a little upset when the client didn't know and I was being recorded. I mean, there was a while there where I was meeting clients under bridges, freeway bridges, because I was PTSD over it. So I think, as a lawyer, it is one of the most inviolate oaths that you take to protect the client confidentiality and the client privilege. So I don't know. I haven't talked to Mark, but if I were Mark, I would be out of my head.
Out of my head. It's incredible. Diddy did two things here. Number one, he betrayed Mark Agnifilo, who, to your point, did so much for him. Obviously, without Mark Agnifilo, Vera would be spending the rest. It seems Diddy and his team were very upset when they found out that this footage was part of the
Okay, so it's not really a big deal. I feel like they're doing a lot over nothing. Okay. All right. Is there anything else? I'm trying to see if there's anything else with this. Probably not. Well, I guess there is. So, remember this guy? Clayton Howard. He's the guy who's suing Cassie. He claims Cassie gave him an STD. He claimed that he was emotionally and he actually accuses Cassie of sexually assaulting him. He told a story of, he said Cassie had him fuck her on her period, and he felt embarrassed. By the way, this was him talking about the lawsuit. The heavyweight champion of the world.
Cassie is Cassavelli.
Cassavelli.
If she came out with another album,
Cassavelli.
it should be Cassavelli, the last OG, whatever. Because Cassie pulled, this was a masterful Hell Hath No Fury Like a Woman scorn. She double did it. See, this is why she messed up. She won when she got the money. She should have took that money and she should have moved to fucking Europe.
48 laws of power.
Yes.
Once you win, you stop. Listen
Know
to me.
when
Look,
to stop.
Look. Once me and you go at it,
Those men may feel they don't have claims. They may
nasty work.
and that it compels me even more to be the one to seek justice against her because somebody has to do it.
Right.
She manipulated dozens of men. Okay, some of those men may feel they don't have claims. They may still be so infatuated with her that they're not making the connection. This guy makes the connection. I didn't know about these other guys. And if I didn't know about these guys and you were flying me all over the state based on the same thing you just did to Sean Combs, you're a co-conspirator. So if the government won't grant me my right as a legitimate victim of this criminal conspiracy to hold you accountable, you know who will let me? The civil courts. And that's the only remedy for a private citizen when the prosecutors won't help you is the civil court. So this is why I sued her. I can prove she was a part of this conspiracy. Hell, she basically confessed to it on the stand. Why would no one want to hold her accountable for it and still support her like she's a victim, knowing she manipulated dozens of men?
Well, look, I have tweets going back months that...
Okay. Now, you know, before I get into the latest filing, I don't know if y'all remember this. Hey, give me 1 second. I just want to refresh y'all memory of some of these stories. I thought this nigga was just lying at first. Shit, I still think that he capping a little bit. But he is very detailed.
He still had unprotected sex with me, and that was the strange part for me. I didn't want to have unprotected sex with her. I wanted to put a condom on, but she insisted on it. You know, she told me she was on birth to put a condom on, but she insisted on it. You know, she told me she was on birth control now, so we didn't have anything to worry about. She like seduced me into telling me it had been months and she was missing me and all of this other stuff. So I succumbed and I had unprotected sex with her again. But when I left, I remember thinking to myself, like, for her to just get pregnant and be crying and saying it was so traumatic to go back and do this again, I lost a lot of respect for her after that. And that's when I really started to look at her like maybe she was just a slut. And I don't mean that with any disrespect.
Then he tells a story of how Cassie gave him chlamydia, bro. Check this out, dog.
Update on that and explain to the people why you suing Cassie.
Well, I'm suing Cassie because once I became aware of how vast what she was doing was, and I was able to connect the fact that I probably caught chlamydia because she was sleeping with dozens of men lying to me,
and I learned a lot more about the law. I realized that for years she manipulated me by promising me money I never got, and basically just overselling a situation that she knew because I was in a less than a desirable financial position that I would go for. So what I'm suing her for is I'm suing her for the actual RICO that the government messed up on as the male victim that she sex trafficked. Because as you might know, it takes 2 predicate offenses in order to be guilty of a RICO, which is a commercial sex act and transporting someone over the state lines for the purpose of prostitution, which the trial totally revealed that she did. She testified to the fact that she personally sex trafficked me. She used a travel agent, and sometimes I would pay for it myself because she would ask me to pay for the ticket, and thinking it wasn't what it was, I would pay for the ticket. I realized I was victimized when I saw the extent of how much she had done. Because I used to talk to her. I didn't just walk into a room and put my penis in her. No, we would have hours-long conversations about life, what she wanted.
Yeah, this nigga is one of the sex workers who fell in love with Cassie. Like, you know, this dude is interesting because, bro, how are you the hired meat and you fall in love with the man's woman? Like you supposed to go just fuck his woman, get the bread and dip. You start pretty much falling in love with her. According to him, he claimed he got her pregnant, she got an abortion, but he claimed that, you know, she also gave him some shit too, which is chlamydia.
With Diddy, different things she wanted to do, her career, her business. Not one time did she say, you know something, Clay, I like you, so let's just be careful because I'm doing this because Sean is making me. That's what she used to call him. I'm doing this because Sean is forcing me, so I don't want you to catch anything, so maybe we should use condoms. No, she's lying. She's hating on the girlfriend I have at the time, telling me that I'm choosing basic bitches over her. That don't sound like a victim to me, my dude, when you jealous because the male escort you paying got a girlfriend he want to see more than you. You know what I'm saying? It's just dirty work, man. It just confirms for me even more that minorities don't have any rights in this country.
Oh, man. Anyway, the latest update is that his lawsuit is actually progressing. According to the judge has actually granted him an allowance to serve, and an allowance doesn't mean money. They're allowing a different type of service. So when you file a civil lawsuit against someone, you have to alert them that there is a lawsuit that has been filed. That's the first step. So you need to alert the person who you're suing that you're suing them. So that's after you file your complaint. Until you alert that person, a judge is not really going to go forward with it, and the judge won't then say the other person's not responding because they're saying they didn't know. You could imagine Cassie's $20 million up, actually $30 million because she got the money from Intercontinental, $10 million, and then $20 million from Diddy. She's like out the way right now, right? And, you know, obviously she's probably ducking and dodging cameras and any type of interview. She wasn't in the documentary. And Clay to Howard, I don't know how he got some bread to like do this, but like he got a lawsuit going and he's just trying to serve her. Now, at a certain point when you can't serve someone or the judge, you know, you got to go back to the judge a couple times with it. Be like, yeah, we tried. We went to their house. We went to where their vehicles are registered to. We went to their place of employment. We went to, like, you know, you got to do some shit. The judge will eventually grant that the person can be served through alternate means. What does that mean? Yo, just go there and tape the fucking shit to their doorbell. They got to come home sometime if they're never home. What else? They might be like, yo, that person said they got 5 different properties. You don't know where they're staying at, but they're a person of note that, you know, is in a hip hop circle. Well, publish it in a big platform, and you could serve them by the press. Let them find out through the media that they're being sued. Eventually, the judge will be okay with service if you can't find the person themselves to serve them. So now the judge in that case is saying, yo, y'all haven't handed the paper to Cassie. Maybe she's evading it. Maybe, you know, for whatever reason, she's just unavailable. You could serve her through alternative means and this is after repeated failed attempts to reach her through traditional channels. So, yeah. This him
Good
again?
evening, TikTok community. Clayton, author of Cassie Victim Co-Conspirator, also recent participant in 50 Cent's documentary, which I will not speak badly about, despite the fact I do have some negative feelings about it.
Oh, wow.
So today, audience, Cassie was finally served with the lawsuit against her.
Oh, wow.
A lot of women out there believe that Cassie's a victim, and you believe Cassie's a victim because of the domestic violence she faced. Again, like I've said in a lot of different interviews, domestic violence is horrible. No woman deserves to be abused. But Cassie was not abused to be in those sexual encounters, people. That is a factual lie that was manipulated by the U.S. Attorney's Office. People, you may not want to believe it because Cassie was a beautiful girl when she was young when she started. Many of you don't look like her, look up to her, because women look up to her. Just because a woman is physically attractive, it doesn't mean she's a damn superhero. Cassie's not a superhero because she's physically attractive. Cassie's a human being. Cassie, like every other woman on this planet.
By the way, one thing I do like about this guy, and I'm going to give a compliment before I make a joke. He's pretty well spoken. I'll give him that. Pretty well spoken. I think he has a decent command of well, not only the English language, but his vocabulary is pretty fast as well. I will say though, I kind of look down on Cassie. If this was Cassie's favorite eater, like this thing got piranha. Like Cassie must got she must got that roast beef joint down there. Ain't no way. Cassie gotta have that roast beef joint down there. She was letting this nigga chomp on her pussy? This the nigga that was, nah, come on now. Like, yo, chat, you ever see, like, sometimes you be, like, idolizing these women, and then you see the nigga that was fucking that they were kind of, like, strung out on you, like, what? Nigga, I had a chance. If he was fucking Cassie, bro, we all had a chance. Come on, dog. Like, if this nigga was beating down in cheeks, this was Cassie's favorite eater. Like, yo, that's wild. That ain't wild, chat. Like, yo, that's
hero, people. Cassie's not a superhero because she's physically attractive. Cassie's a human being. Cassie, like every other woman on this planet, is.
By the way, one thing I do like about this guy, and I'm gonna give a compliment before I make a joke. He's pretty well spoken. I'll give him that. Pretty well spoken. I think he has a decent command of well, not only the English language, but his vocabulary is pretty fast as well. I will say though, I kind of look down on Cassie. If this was Cassie's favorite eater, like this thing got piranha teeth. Like Cassie must got she must got that roast beef joint down there. Ain't no way. Cassie gotta have that roast beef joint down there. She was letting this nigga chomp on her pussy? This the nigga that was, nah, come on now. Like, yo, chat, you ever see, like, sometimes you be, like, idolizing these women, and then you see the nigga that was fucking that they were kind of, like, strung out on you, like, what? Nigga, I had a chance. If he was fucking Cassie, bro, we all had a chance. Come on, dog. Like, if this nigga was beating down in cheeks, this was Cassie's favorite eater. Like, yo, that's wild. That ain't wild, chat. Like, yo, that's wild. If this nigga was Cassie's favorite eater, we all could have fucked. You feel what I'm saying? Like, yo, this nigga was fucking. Yo, chat, I'm not even a dirty Mac type of nigga like that, but you gotta you'd have to use this type of line, like, yo. One time my neighbor used this line on a chick, but it was talking about my brother. It was like, yo, because the dude he was like this. He was one of the best track athletes in his high school. He pulled up on a chick my brother hit before, and he was just like, yo, I heard you let Act brother hit. Like, yo, you gotta let me hit. Like, it's one of those. Like, yeah, you probably gotta tell Cassie, like, yo, Cassie, this was your favorite eater? Yo, I definitely gotta fuck them. Come on, it's lit. Damn.
Capable of deception and manipulation. Cassie lied, people, and I'm not gonna sit back anymore and pretend like this is not what it is.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. This nigga got a razor blade teeth. He got, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, yo.
Many people have shown because of the powerful things he has done to a life.
Your nigga say he look like Beetlejuice. Yo, that's a fact. Yo, Clayton, I'm not even dissing you. I think you're intellectual. And listen, we men, so who gives a fuck about looks? Well, I guess in your profession, looks do matter, right? Because if you're the hired meat, pause. there got to be something going on. Maybe like down there, whatever, pause. But like, you know, I would imagine if Diddy was hiring the dude, he's hiring somebody who Cassie could be attracted to, right? Yeah, he kind of do look like Beetlejuice a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. He do. He do.
A lot of people. Audience, I am not a fan of Diddy. He has done horrible things to people. But I am a supporter of those who may have been set up and maliciously prosecuted. Diddy was guilty, but the way he was prosecuted was wrong because the co-conspirator of that RICO was Cassie and Jane. Now, Jane, I don't speak badly about. One, I've never met her. Two, she seemed like she had enough integrity in the end to tell the truth. Cassie is the only one still manipulating this victim position as she was forced to have these sexual encounters. Cassie was in love with Diddy. Cassie wanted to be the girl who showed Diddy that she was willing to do anything for him. People, I know this, I was there. For every woman who wants to go into my DM and you want to tell me why Cassie was a victim, stay the hell out of my DM. Because, baby girl, let me tell you something. Hashtag you wasn't there. You can't tell me about Cassie's victimhood when you weren't even there and you've never even met the woman. And
Oh, man. Oh, these are some of the claims. It's an active participation. Howard claims that Cassie was just not a victim, as portrayed in her own lawsuit and Diddy criminal trial, but she was an active and engaged participant in manipulating and exploiting experts. He alleges that Cassie forced herself on him and she gave him an STD. He also claims he was ordered to masturbate for hours, causing physical injury. Nah, chat, that's hilarious. Yo, chat, that is yo, that's like, what they call it, gooning or edging or whatever. I don't know what it is, bro. Yo, if you ever had to, you ever had one of them long days? I know it's TMI, but you ever had one of them long days on Pornhub? You on like the 90th page, bro? Like you just can't find that one position from the right bitch. You know what I mean? That go and do it for you, nigga. You been stroking your shit now for like 25, 30 minutes. Every time you look up at the clock, the minutes are going by like this. Yo, your shit is rock hard, nigga. This shit, yo, my nigga, at a point, it should start feeling sore. Pause. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's the injury he's talking about. The nigga said he jacked off till he injured himself. Yo, he said he jacked off till he injured himself, dog. This is wild, bro. Yo, this nigga said he was ordered. I ain't gonna lie. Jacking off for hours don't even sound fun, though. I can't lie to you. No way. Jacking off for hours does not sound fun. Jacking off for hours does not sound fun, bro. Jacking off is like a quick type of thing. Pause. For hours? No. I could see sex for hours. Obviously with some breaks and shit like that. I could see sex for hours. Jacking off for hours? Wow, bro. Hell nah, bro. Hell nah. So here's the abortion claim. He alleged that he got her pregnant during one encounter and she aborted the child without his consent or knowledge. Manipulation. He states that Cassie embraced Diddy's power and used it to manipulate him into participating in these encounters. I think that's actually a decent claim. He's basically saying, yo, yeah, just like how Cassie was claiming that Diddy had all this power and was able to manipulate her, we got manipulated through Cassie using an extension of Diddy's power to manipulate us. Damage is sought. Damn, you want $35 million in damage, along with full recovery for past and future medical expenses and mental health treatment costs. What?
Violence is not a get out of jail free card like Monopoly, where you can get that card, get out of jail free, and still collect $200. No, just because a man put his hands on you, don't mean you couldn't have been a drug dealer. Just because his man put his hands on you, don't mean that you willingly didn't kill somebody. Just because a man put his hands on you doesn't mean you are not a scammer. Just because a man puts...
Yo, why this nigga... Yo, I'm still stuck on this nigga saying he jacked off for hours and had an injury, bro. Yo, that's wild.
His hand on him don't mean a woman can't be a hoe who likes large members and likes to sleep with a bunch of men. People, probably the most damaging thing I'm about to say that people are not going to like is this. Audience, Cassie was a hoe. Cassie was a hoe who liked to sleep with guys who were good in bed, and I was one of those guys. It's a shame that I am being attacked.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a beat with you. He's good at playing victim, but I will say this. Yo, this guy right here, I don't even think he's pro Diddy. I don't even think like he like, oh nah, man, why'd y'all do that to Diddy? I think he one of them niggas is like, yo, there's no way you about to bust down 30 million and not get us. Fuck that. Fuck that. Like, even when you hear him tell the stories, like, remember he said he was telling a story, he was with his chick, and he was just like, yo, Cassie gets on the phone. She calls me. She says, yo, whatever, I got 5 bands for you. I said, you got 5 bands? I left my girl. I went to go get that money. Like, he was always about the money. He's the type of nigga, like, I felt like if Diddy put 20 bands on the table, he would have fucked Diddy. He's a money guy. You gotta, if you heard his stories, it was always driven about the money. Remember when him and the other, like, escort used to be, like, doing joint interviews? He would say it. Like, he would say how much money he got and brag, basically saying, yeah, I got thousands. I don't know how you got hundreds. He was, like, he's a money guy.
Probably the most damaging thing I'm about to say that people are not going to like is this. Audience, Cassie was a hoe. Cassie was a hoe who liked to sleep with guys who were good in bed, and I was one of those guys. It's a shame that I am being attacked, and all of these women want to make excuses for a woman who is a whore. Cassandra Ventura was a whore. She may not be a whore anymore. She grew up, she grew out of it. People change. It's okay. But that time of her life, she was a whore. She liked to have schmecks. She liked to schmuck penis. She loved all that, people. She used to do it for hours, and Diddy did not make her. The only thing Diddy used to make her do was stop when she was going too long, and that's the damn truth. Now, the sad part is that as the actual victim of this conspiracy, that I still don't get the same respect as Cassie because Diddy...
Yo, this is the final boss. This guy is the final boss of all the bullshit that, like, liberal propaganda been pushing. Liberal propaganda is like, yo, oh, everybody's a victim. When the victim speaks, whatever. But he's pointing out the blatant hypocrisy. Yo, is it because Cassie's a pretty attractive, non-melanated woman? That's why y'all believe her in her stories about a melanated man? But when I say that I was taken advantage of by Cassie, I'm not getting the same respect. I'm not seeing y'all rally to... Yo, you can tell, man, this guy's good.
Put his hands on her because she stole his phone and the damn freak off, and the man got caught on camera putting his hands on her. Suddenly, she's the Mother Teresa of domestic violence. People, this is a horrible misconception that is being totally manipulated by people because they need Cassie's domestic violence to hate Diddy. You really don't need Cassie's domestic violence to hate Diddy. People, there is a million different reasons to hate Diddy other than Cassie. People, you need to accept the truth of for what this is. Cassie is not a victim of that RICO. She is most certainly a victim of domestic violence, yes. She is certainly a victim of domestic physical abuse, yes, people. But it's not because of those sexual encounters. It's because she was in a relationship with a super rich and powerful man who was also horribly toxic and a drug addict. Those are the recipes for domestic violence. When you're constantly in a relationship with someone who is drugged up all the time, emotionally imbalanced, and has a super ego, women,
I like how he's holding a mirror up to, like, you know, especially liberal and progressive people who, you know, trigger words are usually like, no, let's listen to this victim. And he's like, no, I'm demanding the same amount of respect and the same amount of, like, hey, y'all don't want to support me, Sue and Cassie, right? And we all know on that side of the world, it's like everybody's a victim. So now he got a whole TikTok channel going in.
Okay, people, continuing my series of speaking the truth with regard to the matters that I know and that I was involved in. I am Dave, or Clayton, here to talk about some of the things that people really wanted to know about the Sean Combs trial and the relationship between Cassandra Ventura and Mr. Sean Combs. The biggest question I see in all my business, the biggest, I want to say, comment section, are women who keep using the excuse that Cassie was drugged, and in her drugged state, she did all of these things because Diddy was drugging her. Well, audience, I need to tell you something that many of you are not going to want to believe, but it is the truth, and I can tell you this truth because I was there for almost 8 years. Are you ready? Sean Combs, not once did he ever drug Cassandra Ventura.
What?
I never saw him force her to take any drugs. I never even saw him to compel her to take drugs. The one thing I can remember several times I did see was him try to stop her from taking drugs and taking so many drugs, because unfortunately, women out there, you're not going to want to hear this, but Cassie liked to get high. Oh yeah, Cassie liked to get high. She liked to smoke weed. She liked to take Molly. She liked to take ecstasy. She really liked to sniff ketamine. And these were the drugs and choices that she was, from my experience, always engaging in. Now, why would I say these things now? Well, because they're the truth. Why didn't I say these things during the trial of Sean Combs? Well, for those of you who don't understand federal practice, there was a protective that allegedly was supposed to keep silent those who were to be called as witnesses in the trial. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office are very, very, very intelligent. What they did is, even though they did not call me, they had me under this protective order, and they kept BSing myself and my attorney into believing that we were going to be called momentarily and to be patient. Because people, I wanted this over. I didn't even want to ever have to come out about this. I reached out to Cassie probably, I want to say, a year before Sean Combs was ever prosecuted. People don't think I'm just some guy who's coming out for clout and attention now. That's not true. I tried to deal with Sean Combs and Cassandra Ventura behind the scenes before I ever came public, before this book was ever written.
Oh, he wrote a book.
But audience, Cassie is incredibly, I want to use the right word here. She is arrogant. She believes, because she has been able to manipulate the U.S. Attorney's Office and the general public into believing she's a victim of these RICOs based off these domestic violence, that she's going to be able to lie her way out of this. And unfortunately for Cassandra Ventura, audience, Clayton Howard's not going to let that happen. See, the true victim of those RICOs was myself. Now, people might say that I got paid, but let's do some comparison here. I got a couple of $1,000s to fly.
See, I told you, he bought that bread.
From Miami, I want to say New York to California, from New York to Miami a few times. Okay, it's paid schmexual work. The truth about the life of Clayton Howard at that time, people, is that I had a girlfriend, and I was in a committed relationship, and that's the truth. You know, it said I was a sex worker, and yeah, unfortunately, when I was released from prison many years ago, I needed money, and, you know, I was in excellent shape. I was propositioned by women. I refer to myself as a schmex worker because it was the truth, people. If I received money from a woman to have schmex with her, that's what that makes me. But people, I didn't advertise as a schmex worker because the truth is you can't. It's illegal.
I think he's avoiding saying sex because he's on TikTok.
I advertised as a massage therapist who was giving people massage, and I'll tell you the truth. In the course of doing that, I was propositioned by dozens of women because I had a great body. I still do. I wear clothes now, I'm a little smaller, but I have an excellent physique. So because of this, in these rooms, because I had gifted hands with women and I was very cool, I got propositioned by women. Cassandra Ventura, out of all the clients I've ever had in the past, is the only woman who contacted me directly on the first day, and I want to say almost directly implied that she wanted a schmexual encounter from the very first experience. She never told me she was in the house with someone, with someone else before I got there, but the way she talked that first time we talked, I knew what she wanted when I got there. I'll just be honest. And I was intrigued by it because she sounded so attractive to people that I was so intrigued I went. I think I've told the story before. I never saw Diddy make Cassie do drugs. I can tell you for a fact there was one time Cassandra Ventura overdosed with me present that she actually speaks about during the trial. And she also states that after she had this overdose that Sean Combs made her have a schmexual encounter. Audience, that's a factual lie, and I can say it because I'm the guy she's talking about. Cassie had taken some, oh God, I want to say this. She had taken rugs. She'd taken these rugs. She was like super enthralled. The drugs were running through her system, whatever you want to call it, and she passed out for probably, I want to say, 6 to 8 hours. So myself and Mr. Combs are locked in this, I want to say, 400 or 500 square foot hotel room, Holiday Inn, for hours, waiting for some sign.
Okay. We've heard the story. All right, Clayton. Good luck, brother. All right.
They got me feeling like I'm academic.
So let me reset this topic real quick, and then we're gonna kind of like analyze it. So basically, 50 and Dame Dash been kind of going through it. 50 really took the last shot at Dame after Dame had said that, yo, this guy is not gonna remake. He didn't buy the rights to Paid in Full because really there's no rights. Anybody could do Paid in Full, and I'm gonna do Paid in Full. I'm gonna do my version. And then he came and doubled down by saying, yo, he's always kind of just saying stuff like, why don't y'all ask him, like, where's the Diddy doc? He said he was doing the Diddy doc. Where the fuck is that? Then the Diddy doc actually gets announced, which was kind of like surprising because, not surprising that it got announced, because Dame had tried to make his own announcement that he was like chairman of like Revolt, and then we got to find out that may have not been all the way true. So he had said, man, other niggas just be saying shit y'all believe him. Like when he was on the Breakfast Club, he kept saying that. It's like, yo, what about this Diddy doc? Then the Diddy doc gets announced. And 50 took some shots at him like, yeah, nigga, whatever. And essentially, the doc comes out. So this is the first time Dame is speaking on the doc, and let's get into that. I'll give you my analysis, and then we will talk a little bit more. By the way, guys, if you have topics, please send it in. I don't care how you send it in. I'm rocking with y'all tonight. I know it's late, but I'm telling you, the more I do this 30 for 30, like I realize the strength in the audience we've built. I want to let you know it's 4:25. If you're watching this later tomorrow on YouTube or anywhere else, or even on Spotify, it's 4:25 a.m. and we have 14,321 people watching. We have 12,000 people on YouTube, and then we have 2,000 combined. It's 4 a.m. Thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for supporting me in this video. Okay? All right, let's get into this. This is Dame Dash speaking about a Diddy documentary, and he brings up some interesting things, but let me kick it off.
But what I'm saying is, conduct for a grown-ass man from where I'm from and where I thought he was from, there's just certain, so... I honestly thought, based on like moral codes and like coming from where
speaking about a documentary here.
Ethic, I honestly didn't think that he would ever do that.
Why though?
You
didn't know that would be the question. Why? He has done
because it's just not my job to tell. I'm not a black man that's going to tear another black man down. Let them do that. But also, like if somebody, again, allegedly, it just seems like somebody violated his baby mother in front of his kid. So. Yeah, but that's not how we deal with things from where we're from. That's like to me. Hey, yo, I know y'all girls, but I'm not answering that. But what I'm saying.
Wait, don't pause it here, but he says Puffy violated Daphne Joy in front of Sire, which is 50 Cent's son. I'm trying to remember the trial, and does anybody remember anything different than what I'm saying? I don't know if that's necessarily all the way true. I know he was supposedly abusive to her, but was it one of the... Someone help me if you have information. Send it in. Thank you.
Let me answer the question. So again, you may not understand like a moral conduct for a grown-ass man from where I'm from and where I thought he was from. There's just certain things and like it's not for us to tear somebody down. So for example, if I'm a criminal and I see somebody doing a crime, I'm not telling. If it might be a violation, like they might be doing some shit that might be like a violation to a kid, then I got to go handle that. If I sign on to the street. So for me, I'm not going to do that because that platform is not black owned. I'm never going to tear a black man down for a white man ever in my life. Also, I know Puff, right? And I don't think that, again, I'm not ever going to check for his moral character. As you see, we never did too much business together. But it would never be me to be the person to deliver that. Let them do it. So probably another person, I would say, go ahead, do that. Maybe someone from, so like example, TMZ called me and was like, yo, we want you to do the interview and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, you think I would ever make money for y'all tearing another black man down, even if that man is wrong? If I'm a black man and I want to do something, I'm gonna go tear down a white man. I'm not gonna tear down a black man. There's so many injustices that we see other people from other cultures do, but we don't say nothing, and they always send us to tear us down. Are you serious? I would never, ever condone a black man tearing down another black man for a white man. That will never happen. And listen, and also another thing, just on my moral code, if a man did that to my girl, and I felt like I'm violated, I gotta wear that, or I gotta handle that different. But I'm not making a documentary. I'm gonna go deal with it, but that's just how other people deal with things, and that's how I deal with things. So the question you asked me was why I said that? Because I never in my life would have thought that 50 Cent would make a documentary about another man from our culture, just because it seems that the dude might have tampered with his woman. And that's just not what I'm doing. But let me just say this. I ain't gonna speak too much on that other man, 50. The only reason why I said something about it is because he talks about me. So that's the only reason why I said something about it. And to me, he's easy work. But the thing about it is, you don't have to deal with this, right? I'm a culture saver. I'm out here fighting for us every day. Every time I argue with somebody, it's not for me, it's for y'all. Because I'm good. I'm always trying to open the doors and make sure that everyone in our culture understands the path. They're usually misled to think they're weaker than they are. And I'm the guy that's going to show you that you do not have to be scared of them. You could do it on your own, and you do not have to do it for them. And they always send us to tear us down. And just because he might be a little strong and funny, we're not jacking that, and I don't think anybody should, because morally, that is not where we want to go. And another thing I didn't like about the movie, to say the least, was a lot of it could have been hearsay. So I've been accused of a lot of things I haven't done. And if there's always, maybe you haven't been hunted in that way. But it is hunt a black man with money season out there. Trust me on that. It's best to be broke or else you're retarded. So I think I'm in the best position right now, because if you sue me, you ain't getting a motherfucking thing, because I ain't got it.
Yeah, he did file for bankruptcy, so I think any litigations that would come after him during this time, they kind of get almost referred to the bankruptcy judge or the arbitrator, and that person is usually going to say, hey, listen, get in line, even if you do win. So they usually have like a conversation, say, are you wasting the time of the court? If there is no punitive damage that monetarily could legally be imposed if he's been accepted under Chapter 7 or Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I think those are the two, right? 7 and 11? Yeah. So, but what do y'all think about his thoughts on a documentary and even 50 doing it? What he starts off by saying reminds me of the Cam 60 Minutes interview, where it's like, a serial killer lived next to you. Camera. When he said, this.
Most people don't know that you can get a domain from Squarespace. Not just a website. But you're not most people, because now you can get a domain from Squarespace. Something like velvetchords.com for your music studio. Or kidchords.com for your middle school band camp.
We're on 60 Minutes.
The type of business I'm in, it would definitely hurt my business. And the way that I was raised, I just don't do that. I was raised differently, not to tell.
A lot of people that are hearing that are going to say that that's not a good thing.
The people that say it's not a good thing are most likely the people that don't buy my records.
Shout out to Cam. Cam always looked like he about to tell a joke. You can tell Cam was always a funny motherfucker, bro. He was always cracking jokes on people.
Saying the people that buy my records kind of understand where I'm coming from. I have a fan base of 500,000 people, which means every time my album comes out, I sell 500,000 on a good day, on a bad day. On a great day, I sell 2 million records. So basically, the people who would say that isn't a good thing, I don't think those are the same people that buy my album. The people that buy my music will understand why I'm saying what I'm saying.
So for you, it's really about business.
It's about business, but it's still also a code of ethics. Like I said, I'm raised from where we wasn't raised to tell. We wasn't brought up to say, hey, this guy did that. This guy did that. It's kind of like, not saying go do something bad to the person who did something to you, but it's kind of policing your own community.
If there's a serial killer living next door to you, though, and you know that person is killing people, would you be a snitch if you called police and told them?
If I knew the serial killer was living next door to me, no, I wouldn't call and tell anybody on him, but I'll probably move. Like, I'm not gonna be around because I don't need to be living around serial killers, but I'm not gonna call and be like, put the signs up like, yo, the serial killers in 4E.
It's not your...
I don't know why this is funny to me, but like, Dame's answer reminds me of that, where he's like, yo, I didn't think he would go and say something.
To tear a black man down. But what I'm saying is, like moral codes and like coming from where like a street ethic, I honestly didn't think that he would ever do that.
Why though?
I wouldn't.
Now, his thought was, you go handle it yourself. And my whole thing is, I think Dame is capping a little bit. And what I mean capping, so I get the snitching angle where you're like, yo, well, first I don't get it, to be honest, because the whole serial killer thing is like kind of stupid. Why are you protected? The only point with 50 that I agree with is, if someone says, 50, you have been accused of certain stuff, maybe not criminally proven to have done certain stuff, but you've been accused. It's kind of offsetting to anyone that you have similar accusations to the person you're making a documentary on, and you're not coming with proven fact, you're coming with innuendo, and you're coming with narratives, and you're coming with hearsay. Someone could do the same to you. Now, I don't think it's wrong if he did a documentary that was factually based on, I don't know, let's say Diddy was convicted of the murder of Tupac Shakur, right? Let's say it was all the proof in the world, he's been convicted, and it's not necessarily conviction, but like, this is more than just hearsay. I don't mind 50 doing documentary. I think where it comes is a glass house thing, where it says you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. And shit, 50 has a song, you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. Come on, some of y'all should know that song. If you should watch your mouth. I agree with that theory. Right? I agree with that theory. Because if you've been accused of similar things, but not proven, or there's no hard evidence of certain stuff, why would you then use circumstantial evidence and hearsay to bury someone else when you're basically announcing to the world it's cool if people use the same to bury you? Now, maybe you're more liked and people won't do the same to you, but why would you do it to someone else? You become a flagrant hypocrite. And that's my only issue when it comes to 50, right? Like, imagine if, like, Cassie's not in a documentary. Imagine if someone took the things and the accusations of Diddy. Not Diddy, I mean 50. Daphne Joy came out and said 50 R-worded her. There's also police reports of an alleged beating or a fight. Imagine if they then painted that in a narrative and a brush of, 50 was just in love but jealous, but he's going through roid rage and he was super jealous and aggressive and he beat her up, blah, 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 blah. Now, by the way, I make it on something. But they created a documentary and got people to kind of give support and evidence to drum up that narrative. I think he would say that would be foul. I don't think he would be like, oh, that's fair game. And I think that's where my only contention goes. Because if you have similar things, you wouldn't want somebody to drum up false narratives. Now, here's the thing. If the things aren't hearsay or this is like definitive facts or whatever the case is, I got no problem with 50 stuff, clearly. But that's the only problem I could ever have. He's mentioning some other shit, like some street shit, like, yo, if you're a street dude, you shouldn't do this. And I'm like, I don't know. That's my moral barometer. my moral barometer isn't if you're a street dude, you shouldn't do a documentary on somebody who's, you know, accused of allegedly beating up women.
And now let them do that. But also, you know, like if somebody, you know, again, allegedly, it just seems like somebody, violated his baby mother in front of his kid. You know, so, yeah, but that's not how we deal with things from where we're from. You know, that's like to me. Hey, yo, I know y'all girls, but I'm not answering that. But what I'm saying is, So again, you may not understand like a moral conduct for a grown-ass man from where I'm from and where I thought he was from. There's just certain things and like it's not for us to tear somebody down. So for example, if I'm a criminal and I see somebody doing a crime, I'm not telling. If it might.
Now, I hate this connotation, and respectfully, I've always said this. And again, I get it, I'm not a street dude, so like, you gotta take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But y'all street dudes, please exit stage left and get all the way the fuck out of here when it comes to issues that have to do with domestic violence. We don't care about your street rules. And also, if you're a man, you should, listen, when it comes to domestic violence, whether it's being inflicted upon a woman you know, a man you know, your girl, or not, well, obviously I guess you know, if your girl, I guess, but like a woman, period, or even you. If your girl is trying to fucking stab you or shoot you, and you fucking had to, you know, hit her with a fucking Jake Paul overhand or an RKO or some shit, and the police show up, and it says, well, why the fuck did you knock out the woman? It's a domestic situation, bro. You should be able to tell the cops, yo, she tried to shoot me. She tried to stab me. I tried to defend myself. That's it. This idea that street codes police domestic violence is ridiculous. But what Diddy was accused of was sex trafficking, which he wasn't convicted of, was racketeering, which included a lot of like sex trafficking stuff, but he wasn't convicted of. What we do know, what he was convicted of is prostitution, and what we do know, I think we can safely say, is that he was a violent domestic abuser. So this idea that we keep talking about street shit when it comes to domestic violence, I think it's weird. If your man's beating you, let me tell you this. I've called the police. Well, obviously nobody has any expectations of me being a street dude, but I've called the police on a woman. I can't beat her ass. I can't even touch her. So I'm gonna call the police that they are, not to arrest her. I'm calling the police that they could play the middleman. Hey, did you tell her to calm down? Did you tell her to stop throwing things down? Yeah, of course you should. That has nothing to do with the streets. And I get it, maybe I'm exempt to that, but like, if you're any man, that has nothing to do with the streets.
So you want to start a business. You might think you need a team of people and fancy tech skills, but you don't. You just need GoDaddy Aero. I'm Walton Goggins, and as an actor, I'm an expert at looking like I know what I'm doing. GoDaddy Aero uses AI to create everything you need to grow a business. It'll make you a unique logo. It'll create a custom website. It'll write social posts for you and even set you up with a social media calendar. Get started at GoDaddy.com/Aero. That's GoDaddy.com/AI.
Be a violation, like they might be doing some shit that might be like a violation to a kid, then I got to go handle that. If I sign on to the street.
No, that's also stupid. Now, if you want to go handle it, you could, but you should alert the authorities. Here's the thing. All right, Dame Dash, you find out that your neighbor is molesting a kid down the road. You wouldn't call the cops. You would just be like, oh, I'm going to go handle that. What happens if you go try to handle it and the neighbor is either tougher than you or gangster than you, so he beat your ass or he kill you? So we have to look for vigilante justice for things that are clearly wrong and things that are just nobody fucks with. What are you talking about? But domestic issues are not street issues, if you ask me.
So for me, I'm not going to do that because that platform is not black owned. I'm never going to tear a black man down for a white man ever in my life. Also, I know Puff, right? And I don't think that, again, I'm not ever going to check for his moral character. As you see, we never did too much business together. But it would never be me to be the person to deliver that. Let them do it. So probably another person, I would say, go ahead, do that. Maybe someone from, so like example, TMZ called me and was like, yo, we want you to do the interview and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, you think I would ever make money for y'all tearing another black man down, even if that man is wrong? If I'm a black man and I want to do something, I'm going to go tear down a white man. I'm not going to tear down a black man. There's so many injustices that we see other people from other cultures do, but we don't say nothing. And they always send us to tear us down. Are you serious? I would never, ever condone a black man tearing down another black man for a white man. That will never happen. And if listen, and also another thing, just on my moral code, if a man did that to my girl, and I felt like I'm violated, I gotta wear that, or I gotta handle that different. But I'm not making a documentary. I'm gonna go deal with it, but that's just how other people deal with things, and that's how I deal with things. So the question you asked me was, why I said that? Because I never in my life would have thought that 50 Cent would make a documentary about another man from our culture, just because it seems that the dude might have tampered with his woman.
Yeah, I kind of split from Dame with that thinking. I'm like, yo, 50 wasn't the best candidate to make the video because clearly he has other things he's, upset about and probably would influence how this documentary is going to turn out. But I'm not agreeing with Dame that says if you feel like that, you need to go crash out.
That's just not what I'm thought. But let me just say this. I ain't gonna speak too much on that other man, 50. The only reason why I said something about it is because he talks about me. So that's the only reason why I said something about it. And to me, he's easy work. But the thing about it is, you don't have to deal with this, right? I'm a culture saver. I'm out here fighting for us every day. Every time I argue with somebody, it's not for me, it's for y'all. Because I'm good. I'm always trying to open the doors and make sure that everyone in our culture understands the path. They're usually misled to think they're weaker than they are. And I'm the guy that's going to show you that you do not have to be scared of them. You could do it on your own, and you do not have to do it for them. And they always send us to tear us down. And just because he might be a little strong and funny, we're not jacking that, and I don't think anybody should, because morally, that is not where we want to go. And another thing I didn't like about the movie, to say the least, was a lot of it could have been hearsay. So I've been accused of a lot of things I haven't done. And if there's always, maybe you haven't been hunted in that way, but it is hunt a black man with money season out there. Trust me on that. It's best to be broke or else you're a target. So I think I'm in the best position right now, because if you sue me, you ain't getting a motherfucking thing, because I ain't got it.
Okay, and this is where we kind of go back to the documentary. Obviously it's definitely a chess move, but also that's 50, taking a shot at Diddy, right? Torre, he has came out with some commentary, and he's kind of like, more than obviously like they got me feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride no way. I mean, let's get into it now, right? Fuck it. So there's a Michigan coach that got fired, and it's something over a girl. Let me see. Okay, is this the full story? Oh no.
The head coach of Michigan football is an idiot. I didn't know God made people this stupid. I honestly didn't know God made people this stupid. This is the Shannon Sharp situation all over again. Shannon Sharp 2.0. How do y'all continue to allow yourselves to get finessed and tricked out of millions of dollars by college scallywags? Sharon Moore was given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity by Jim Harbaugh. So Jim Harbaugh was the head football coach of Michigan. However, he got an NFL gig. So while leaving to go take the NFL head coaching job, he personally handpicked Sharon to take over for him.
Okay.
Because he believed in Sharon. He believed that he could be the man for the job.
There we go.
And, he told the university that they should honor his request and make Sharon the head coach. Despite being a married man with 2 daughters, he decided the first thing he was going to do with his new opportunity was to throw it all away by getting involved with an executive assistant. This was a clear and flagrant violation and mistake for obvious reasons. One of the biggest reasons being she was literally his employee and he had influence.
All right, let me cut this shit, man. Yo, listen. I know niggas is gonna be in denial. Niggas gonna be in denial, but like about 60 to 70% of people, especially people in power, they're fucking the system. It's like y'all ain't gonna like hearing that, but like it's happening. Yo, I guarantee. You know that whole Diddy case. I guarantee Diddy fucked KK. 100%. 100%. And let's be honest, who was the most loyal person to Diddy? We haven't seen KK since. It's like she's in jail with Diddy. She's disappeared. I'm telling you. So like this thing that kind of when it comes out, and I get it, like obviously when it comes to sports, it's super frowned upon, right? When it came to what's the former Celtics coach? I think I forgot what team he's on now. When it came to him, he was fucking someone's wife. So that like you can't fuck an executive's wife. But this is an assistant. Most of these dudes they're sleeping with somebody that's in their orbit. The reality is this. I know for everybody who are gonna just look at this super black and white, yes, money probably is a contributing factor. Power is too. But these guys spend most of the time on the road around the personnel and team personnel. They're not traveling with their family. Every other week they're out of town. They're gonna be fucking somebody else, right? That's not a big, obviously certain places frown upon it or don't fuck with it. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that behavior. And if you want to know, in the industry, a lot of times when you see, put it like this. I know rappers who fuck their A&Rs. Like, sometimes labels will hire like these sexy looking A&Rs, and rappers will fuck with them. Like, bro, people are fucking. Like, you get what I'm saying? Is it appropriate, especially since it's a coworker, and obviously if you want to get into your HR, like power dynamics or something, I get it. But just generally, this happens way more frequent than
over her salary. Due to the clear and obvious imbalance of the power dynamics at play here, no matter how much this chick consent, she would always be viewed as the victim. And forget about how you put the school at risk of a possible lawsuit. Think about yourself. Think about how vulnerable the position you put yourself in. No matter how much this chick consents, no matter how much she tells you she loves you, she can wake up one day and claim victimhood and take you for everything you got.
Is that her? Is that her? Where's his wife? I want to see his wife. This is his wife? Wait, chat. Is this his wife right here? Is this the wife? And then this the side? Let me see.
She can wake up one day for the 20% in 1 year. We talked King on campus that he began to be in an open with this. Like, he was no longer hiding it. Like, kids was literally sending pictures to each other of this dude and her, like, walking seemingly romantically all across campus. Bro was too comfortable, man.
Oh, so the side was just younger. All right. So far in the story, I'm following the chat. I'm following it. I'm following the story. The story seems to be something is very plausible. I see this all the time. Okay? The dude got a wife at home. He got a chick who's probably a younger, hotter version, freakier. He's at work for fucking 12 hours a day. Yeah, he's beating it down in the locker room. Yes.